Hi everyone, I'm Vince and this is my channel Vince Cooper Games. Today we're going to continue looking at my game Bloody Lane and we're going to look at the next two phases. This is the Reset Confederate Artillery phase and the Confederate Artillery phase. So starting off with the Reset Confederate Artillery phase. Down here you have the Confederate Artillery and currently they have an artillery reloading token attached. So during the Reset Confederate Artillery phase, you're going to remove the artillery reloading token and you're going to replace it with an artillery ready token. If at the beginning of the Reset Confederate Artillery phase, the Confederate artillery still has an artillery ready token, you don't take any action. It's only if they have an artillery reloading token that you replace it with an artillery ready token. And that's all it is. That's the Reset Confederate Artillery phase. Now going on to the Confederate Artillery phase. The Confederate artillery have two choices. You can fire or you can hold fire. The easiest one of these is the hold fire option. So we're going to go through that one first. If you choose to hold the fire, the artillery ready token remains attached. You don't take any action, you don't fire against the Union artillery, but, and this is a key decision that you're going to have to make every turn, what that does mean is that the Union artillery will fire against your supply line. Okay, this is, again, we've talked about this in a previous video, this is where you're sending your orders, your ammunition and your reinforcements along the supply line. Okay, so hold fire, don't take any action, but the consequence of that is that the Union artillery will fire against the supply line. Okay, that's hold fire. If you choose to fire, then what you're going to do is use your Confederate artillery to fire against the Union artillery. The Union artillery actually is located up here. This is Tompkins battery. That's who you're going to be firing against. There's also Tidball's battery over here, but the Union artillery can never target Tidball's battery. So actually, again, I've said this in a previous video, Tidball's battery was actually further to the east on the opposite bank of the Antietam Creek. So they're not actually where they're represented on the game board. But Tompkins battery was, you know, more or less where it's located here on the game board. So let's go ahead and resolve that. So there are three guns are going to fire. For every gun that is destroyed, you reduce the number of attacks by 1, but we're going to make 3 attacks. If you look here, Boyce's battery needs to roll a 2 to 4 on 2d6 in order to inflict a hit on one of Tompkins' artillery pieces. So let's go ahead and make the first attack. So we got a 6, so that's a miss. That's an 11, a miss. And that's a 9, also a miss. Okay, so just for the purposes of demonstration, however, let's assume that we get a hit. Okay, we roll a 1 and a 3. So a 1 and a 3 gives us somewhere between this range of 2 to 4. So we've inflicted a hit on the Union artillery. So next we need to determine what the target is. So we're going to assign a result of 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 5 to 6. And the result there is a 5. So that's a hit against this Union artillery. This Union artillery currently has a battery strength of 2. So that's going to be reduced down to a battery strength of 1. Okay, had I rolled, let's say, a 4, this Union artillery counter would have been targeted. This Union artillery counter currently has a battery strength of 1, so this hit would have destroyed this Union artillery counter, and thereafter only 2 guns remain in Tompkins battery. Now I said before, if you hold fire, the Union will direct their fire against the supply line. If you fire, all of the Union artillery will engage in counter battery fire. So they will attack, this is Tompkins and Tidball, all of the Union artillery in the next phase will attack the Confederate artillery. And the last thing to do is to remove the artillery ready tokens and replace them with an artillery reloading token. And that will remind you in the next phase that the Union will attack the Confederate artillery. So that's it. That concludes the overview of the reset Confederate artillery phase and the Confederate artillery phase.